Welcome back to the channel, guys. I'm Sheldon, and this is Behind the Enthusiast. Today, we're going to be doing something a little bit different, and that is talking about you guys. You, watching the video right now, watching many of my videos over the years. Basically, we're going back to August 7th of 2021 when I first started the Behind the Enthusiast series. Yes, Behind the Enthusiast was the title of a series. It wasn't necessarily intended to be a rebranding of the channel. However, that is what it developed into. And so from then, August 7th, 2021, right now we're 3.5 years approximately in, and things have changed drastically for me. I mean, for my first video of that series up till now, I mean, just so many things have changed, and it's all thanks to you guys. So I want to talk about some of those analytics that YouTube provides to me so that I can improve the channel or make note of things that aren't working or whatever, right? And so, one of the things that was pretty cool in that series, I started it off talking about how I was a car enthusiast, a bike enthusiast, a flat tracker, and my third video, I believe, was the first to reach triple digits, so 100 views. And then obviously we have more videos to come out, and I managed to hit 500 views at least, so it's over 500 now, but 500 views in my fifth video ever, and then my sixth video ever, 1600, eighth video, 15,000 views. My number 8 in the series, 15,000 views, so well over 10,000. Absolutely crazy. I mean, when I got, into the triple digits, getting 100 views or 200 views, I thought I was doing pretty well. Anything over 10 really was pretty cool to me, and I didn't really have any expectations. It wasn't about making money or anything like that. And so now, looking back at that and looking at all of these statistics, the analytics, all this information that's available to me, and then to find out in that same year, and keep in mind I started in August, so a little bit late in the year. But by the 11th of December, my Fat Bob versus Fat Boy video was released, and it currently stands at over 22,000 views, which is crazy. I thought that was going to be my most popular video after it kind of blew up out of nowhere, really. And then I guess I kind of had a hard time replicating the same success. And not that I was necessarily playing that whole advantage of having a viral video, but I kind of got that in the way of my Buell video, which a lot of people either love it or hate it. That's fine. It's also pretty old now because that was put out on April 2nd of 2022, so 3 years ago. And that has surmounted over 34,000 views. And so that is pretty crazy. I mean, the analytics, I don't always go in there. I'll check it weekly just to kind of see how some videos are performing. But to really go back and look at the past 3.5 years, I've never done this before. And so basically I'm giving you guys a shout out to what you're contributing to, show you a bit of appreciation, and tell you over the 3.5 years, the channel has surmounted over 300,000 views. It's actually a little over 306,000 views. And in that time span, for me, coming up with the Behind the Enthusiast series and rebranding the channel, coming up with a lot of, visionaries for the brand, the logos, and everything else, and kind of having a theme for thumbnails and the like. 828 subscribers at least have been gained. So I currently sit at over 900. I think I just checked. It showed 909, I believe. So in terms of a goal of hitting 1,000, we're over 90% right now, which is pretty exciting. And the one thing that really blows my mind is the impressions. Now, for those of you who don't understand the analytics, impressions is basically how many times the video is put in front of a viewer. So if you guys see my video pop up while you're searching or scrolling through or whatever, that counts as an impression of you actually laying eyes on it. And the entire channel has surmounted 2.9 million impressions from all of my videos, which is absolutely insane. I mean, I've essentially reached 2.9 million people potentially with my videos. Even though I only have, 909 subscribers right now, 2.9 million impressions. That's insane. If I had 2.9 million, views or whatever, which I don't, I have 306,000 at least, 2.9, that would be insane. So the fact that it's actually been viewed, some video or another has been viewed, in total as a group, 2.9 million times is just insane. And the other analytics that I see when you guys are watching primarily, Saturdays, Sundays, and Mondays is generally when you guys are consuming the content. So I do try to cater my schedule around that. Plus, I also like to release things on the weekend where you're not busy, at work. On the weekend, you get some time to watch a video. And if you don't, clearly you watch it on Mondays. So I do try to cater that a little bit. I try to take your guys' availability into mind. And the other thing that I found interesting was the devices that you guys are using to watch the videos. Primarily, it's mobile phones, so your cell phone. And then number two is TV. I was really surprised by that. I didn't think people were watching YouTube videos on their TV, but with smart TVs, I guess it's kind of a normalized thing now. Computers were number three, and I think number four, I don't quite remember. I think number four is tablet. So it looks like, between mobile phones, TV, computers, and tablets, I mean, they're all pretty high percentages, but mobile phones is number one. And the very unique thing about the reach, 2.9 million impressions, this is really, opening my eyes, looking at the analytics and thanking you guys and showing you appreciation by discussing these things in this video. The reach that I've had geographically is pretty crazy, I think, as well. And I know, we're talking about Harleys. We're talking primarily about Harleys. So majority of you, actually 44.1% of you, so almost 50% of you are in the US. So anybody in the US who's watching this video, thank you so much for watching the video, supporting me. The likes, the comments, subscribing, 44.1% of you. So pretty darn close to 50% of you who are watching the channel are American and you are supporting me. And keep in mind that this may not exactly, be the right number because some of the information I think is a little lacking because when you fill out your profile, if you don't put where you're from, I don't know if it's mandatory. So the numbers might be off a little bit. Now, number two geographically is where I reside, which is Canada. So 6.6% Canadian viewership, which is pretty low. But again, it's an American company. Harley Davidson videos that I produce, they're really, really popular. And there are so many people in the US who love that brand. And that's the prime market. I mean, I know this stuff, it is factual. I'm not surprised necessarily by the numbers and the lopsidedness of it, 44.1 compared to 6.6% Canadians. I'm not too surprised by that, to be completely honest. I did expect Canadian percentages to maybe be a little bit higher just because I would expect my videos to be promoted to Canadians because it's by a Canadian. However, it doesn't surprise me that much. A little bit, maybe, just a tiny bit. You know, maybe I wish it were 10% or 20% Canadians, but to be even close to half of the US percentage, knowing how the market is split, it sounds about right anyway. Now, the thing that may surprise you guys, for those of you who are in the US or Canada, is you're not alone. And so we have at least 3 other countries in that top 5 group at the moment. I have seen some others as well, but they have fallen off. Just depends on when you're looking at the analytics. So over the past 3.5 years, the United Kingdom, Australia, and Germany have been rounding out the top 5. So they're more or less all around 1.2%. So a pretty small portion. You know, I'm speaking in English, so obviously Americans, Canadians, the UK. I don't quite remember what that includes. I'm assuming that's England and a bunch of other countries in that area. But speak English. Australians speak English. Germans do not speak English normally, unless they're, you know, they learn English. So they're probably speaking in German. So I'm going to try for a second here. Dankeschön. I don't know if I butchered that or not, but thank you, Germans who are watching. And the other thing that I noticed was those countries that were fluctuating in and out. I don't want to say that they're such a small part that I don't notice, but they kind of come and go. So if I'm looking at the analytics at the right time, let's say, I have noticed Japan. So Japan is, and I've actually seen a couple of comments from people saying they were in Japan. So, and Japanese, let's see, domo arigato. Thank you very much for everybody who's in Japan watching the videos. Really appreciate your support. I've also seen, I think, France. I think I saw France as well. So, merci beaucoup. And I think India. India might have been on the list as well. I don't know Indian. Sorry. But, you know, there's just so many countries that, you know, people reside in, and you're watching my content, which is really, really cool. I didn't really think of that. I was very new to YouTube in the beginning, and I just thought, oh, I'm gonna make some videos for, you know, people in the area, you know, local people or whatever. And you don't realize how broad a spectrum, of a broad reach you end up getting running a YouTube channel. So Americans, Canadians, UK, Australians, Germans, you know, people who are over in Japan, you know, like let's say Asia even, you know, there could be, you know, a few people watching and it's just not registering on the list, you know, because the percentages are so small. Maybe it's only like 0.2%, but it's 200 people or something, or 20 people. I don't know. But that is a really interesting statistic for me, because I'm also looking at the subtitles. And the subtitles, you know, we've got English, so people are maybe seeing the words that I'm speaking and just putting the video on mute. We've also got French translations, which doesn't surprise me. So French Canadians or anybody in the US who speaks French, or people from France. And the third translation is a Spanish. So I don't know who's watching my videos in Spanish, but that's cool. If you speak Spanish and you're watching my videos, leave a comment down below. Let me know. Let me know where you live, what country, and yeah, it's really cool. I didn't anticipate having such a broad reach and leave such an impression, on all these different countries. But I think that just goes to prove how universal motorcycles are, whether it's Harleys or Suzuki or Yamaha, Kawasaki, Indian motorcycles, whatever, it doesn't matter. There is such a broad reach. However, the one thing that stands out the most, and that's the highest percentage, would be that 99.3% of you are males. You're guys. So typically when I start my videos, I say, welcome back to the channel, guys. Generally I mean that, but there are a few ladies watching the channel, which is pretty cool. I'm hoping that more actually do, just because motorcycle riding is for everybody. It's not just for one specific, gender or whatever. It's for everybody. It's for all ages. And well, speaking of ages 18, I think it's 18 to 24 is the lowest age group that is watching the content. No one under 18 is watching my content, as far as I know. And it goes all the way up to a group that is 65 and older. So, you've got so many people from, teenagers who are getting their license all the way up to people who are potentially retired and not even working anymore and out just riding their bikes. Everybody is in the conversation. Everybody is included. And the largest group, by the way, in case you guys are curious, ages 45 to 54, which is 27.9%. That is the highest percentage. There's a couple of groups that are pretty close, still in the 20% range. However, 45 to 54 is the largest percentage group. But it is pretty impressive that we have ages 18 all the way up to 65 plus. So it could be people in their 70s or 80s, for all I know. It doesn't actually get, that specific once you get up to that age range. So the grand scheme of things, I have so much to be thankful for. All of you who are watching the channel, smashing that like button, leaving comments, whether it's good comments or bad comments, constructive criticism, that sort of thing. Everything has contributed to these analytics, and you guys have given me a lot of feedback and information to hopefully improve the channel and hopefully make this one of the best years possible. With my injury, that obviously has slowed things down a little bit, but I wanted to give a shout out to you guys because I really appreciate it. Without your support, I wouldn't be talking about any of this, and I wouldn't be amazed at how these videos can actually change the world or affect the world. I think that's really, really awesome. The views, they don't matter too much to me. I think the coolest thing is the geographics, the geography of it, the landscape. Yes, I expect Americans and Canadians, and I do expect people from Europe. However, to see beyond my expectations of writers, people who don't speak English primarily, so Germans and Japanese, India, and some other ones that have probably kind of fluctuated in and out. But I remember there was a comment, I think the guy was in India, and he was asking me about the Triumph Rocket and a Fat Boy, I believe. So, and I remember commenting and trying to help the guy out. And I try to help you guys out whenever you have a question, and you leave it in the comments, whether it be about, should I buy a trike, or should I buy this bike or whatever. So I try to cater to you guys as much as possible, whenever possible. And these analytics, I mean, if you guys think that one of these analytics is something that I should be focusing on more, let me know in the comment section down below. And of course, if you like this video, make sure to smash that like button so I know that it's working. My hand is still recovering. We'll be getting to that in another video, don't worry. And I will be giving you guys an update on all of my builds, more or less. And that will be coming up, well, I say shortly, but let's just say soon enough. And hopefully you guys are excited for that, because we have a lot to talk about. And there are a lot of you who are interested in content, so I gotta keep making it. And yeah, comments. What do you guys think I should do next? I really want to know what you guys think. You know, you're contributing to all of this. I mean, there's potentially 2.9 million of you who have seen a thumbnail of mine, of one of my videos. And if you're watching a video right now, let's say this is the first video there that you're watching, or maybe one of the first few. Let me know what your impressions are of the videos, the content, the thumbnails, whatever. And let me know what you would be interested in seeing me make next, and help me contribute to a growing channel, a successful channel. And yeah, we're just gonna keep it rolling. We're gonna have a blast. 2025 is still more or less just getting going. And when the summer hits officially for me in my area, I really hope my hand is better for me to just jump right in and bring you guys along for the ride with a behind the enthusiast look at what it is like to have an automotive addiction. So thanks for watching, guys. I really appreciate it. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please consider doing that. And I will catch you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching.